Hello, and welcome to another episode of Between Two Pints. I'm your host, Rob, and with me today is Olivier, who's here to talk about his feature film, Lola Dust. And I watched it and I love it. There's like AI stuff, there's machine learning, there's like deep fakes. It's incredible. Please tell me about it.
Thank you. Lola Dust is a thriller about an actress who um, acts in a short film and soon after realizes that she's part of an international scandal where they're basically it's used as a gossip piece to get a minister fired.
I have to stop you right there. I forgot the most important part of the show. We need to pour beer.
Right.
But I was really excited about talking about Lola Dust. So, oh God. So now the proper way to pour these is just like 180 degrees upside down, just like this. Don't be scared. It's okay.
I've been to Ireland. I should know this.
It's why they have the widget, the little plastic thing in it, so that you can pour it perfectly by doing that. You don't need to be good at pouring.
Like that.
Cheers. So Lola Dust, I think a big part of it, and I don't want to ruin anything. We can always cut it out later, but a big part of it is deepfakes, and you guys use that a lot, which is really interesting. But like, how did you guys come up with this idea? Because you started shooting this like 2.5 years ago, so it's almost prophetic on like how much you saw where things were going.
Well, something even crazier is we came up with a similar story back in 2017. We turned that into a VR film, and we've sort of been following, deepfake since it started in 2018. And we always knew we wanted to make a film about it. We were like, wow, this is crazy. We will get into a world where we can use, AI and computers to basically change anyone's face and make them say anything we want. And we were like, yeah, we felt like this was coming. We were like, one day we'll live in a world where you can't trust anything that you see on video, anything that you read. And yeah, this was sort of the premise of Lola Dust before we even wrote it.
It's awesome. Like, yeah, no, I was stunned with how good the script is. And I work in film and I could tell that maybe you did it on a little bit of a smaller budget, but like, dude, the script just carries it through and it is gorgeously shot, but like, man, like the script is awesome.
Thank you.
I guess you weren't expecting me to be this excited about it.
I'm glad that you're excited. Yeah, no, I don't know what to add. I mean, we wrote the script for a lower budget. We self-financed the film. We wanted to film something that we knew we could make look great. We had to make choices, as for if we use deepfake in some of the scenes, or strangely, as we like in between when we started filming and when we completed filming, a lot of progress were made where it got a lot easier. Like one thing that came up actually is Mid-Journey, which is this AI where you can prompt it to create images, which we used at the end of the film when we see Jade, our main actress, and she's suddenly in all of these different places around the world or different advertisement. We were like, well, we've got to use the technology to do this, not do it all practical, because
you got to use it. We're doing something a little bit similar. I'm doing this fantasy comedy project with my friends, and we had a photo shoot last week where the main actor, who's a very good friend of mine, his character is supposed to have been this like famous male model who had this great career and then like retired from modeling to make this like project. And so we did a bunch of photos of him last week, and the idea hopefully is that we can train an AI on his face so that we can create a fake modeling career with like him being younger in the photos and like absurd over the top like fashion stuff. I guess that's like the good version of using this instead of like trying to ruin people's lives.
yeah, it's yeah. You'll see when you start doing it how scarily easy it is to do, and it seems like every other week. I don't know if it's because of the film, but I keep getting these ads on Instagram for like, oh, create videos of anyone doing whatever you want them to say, and I've been getting a lot of those as ads, and I'm like, is this legal? And you know, like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how you stop these programs from doing it for you, and,
Yeah, the
or with your
genie out of the
face.
bottle.
Yeah.
It's funny actually because my friend was complaining. He's like, "Oh, there's these apps that do these terrible things. You can take people's clothes off, and the only ads I'm getting are like how to turn yourself into a puppet." So I guess that tells a lot about my search history.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I actually saw my friend in your film, Jesse Inakala. Hopefully, we'll get you on the project, Jesse. I will send this to him with a personal note. How can like so you guys wrote the script and then like how did it evolve from there? Like did you spend years like trying to find funding? Did you yeah, like where did it go once you had a script draft?
Okay. Once we had a script draft that we were happy with, I mean, we didn't want to be sitting waiting for grants. Um, I we had a little bit of money in the bank from the first movie that we made, and so we were like, well, we've got money to shoot the first 15 minutes of the movie. So we're like, let's go for it. We started casting. We started reaching out to friends. We started looking for, camera team, and we sort of set a date. We were like, okay, first week of October, that's what we're doing. Let's do it. And luckily, like a lot of people jumped on the project, and we're like, oh yeah, that's great. Let's shoot the first 15 minutes. And once we had that, we started editing it. We sort of started promoting it as we were promoting the release of Residents of Arcadia, the first film that we made. And yeah, didn't go too far with it until one day someone tipped us off that the New York Times was talking about Residents of Arcadia. Yeah, we were kind of in the list of movies that they were recommending for that weekend. We were like, oh, nice. And after we shared that around sort of our circle, a friend of mine came up and he was like, well, how much do you need for Lola Dust for your second film? I'd like to pitch in. And he came up with most of the funding that we needed. So that was sort of yeah, it took about 6 months between the first block of filming and when we got the funding. And after that, we were like, well, let's not wait forever. So we took about a month and a half to get ready. And then we shot the rest in 2 blocks.
That's awesome. So I got to ask some technical questions and I know you're going to hate this cuz directors never want to talk about this or producers, but like do you know what camera you shot on cuz I'm always curious.
It was an Alexa Mini.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's why it looks so good.
Yeah. Our cinematographer, luckily, was coming off of filming Riverdale, and he had all of the equipment. So, we pulled in a lot of favors making this movie.
That's incredible. So how many shoot days do you think it was?
We had a total of 17 shoot days, and then we had three extra sort of very, very low crew, where, a lot of, I guess that's a big secret on the podcast, but all of the Lola Dust footage was shot in my garage
I mean,
with like
probably
a camera and me running sound and Jade.
I think I'm probably going to be doing something exactly similar with my next project. There's a few chunks where like when I'm planning with the other producer, like this part will essentially be free to film because it'll just be me and my buddy, the actor, and like my gear in the garage. So
Yeah, but yeah, it was 17 days plus a couple of extra pickup days that it was really just the camera and me and Dom and one or two actors, or like whenever we had like CGI, yeah, just faces, or we didn't bring in actors during our filming days. We kind of shot those ourselves later.
yeah, so I guess my next question would be, like knowing everything you know now, is there anything you would have done differently?
Not really. I feel like we were able to do so much with so little resources. Like, I don't, I feel like our entire project was so optimized that there's not much that we could have done more than this. I, yeah, I'm incredibly proud of the film.
You should be. It's great and like thought provoking. Like it needs to be online or somewhere where I can tell my friends to go watch it because like a lot of my friends, I mean, like I said, like we use AI, we dabble in it, but like I made a photorealistic picture of my kobold character from Dungeons and Dragons. I've like, done terrible things with it. So, but to see this, it's like a lot of the stuff that's going on in that where the bad guys are doing. I don't want to give anything too much away, but like it's all I'm like, yeah, you could totally do that. That wouldn't be that hard. Like you could probably find like 6 YouTube tutorials and that would teach you everything you knew.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy because we shot the film, and at the time, like none of that was kind of possible. And as time went on, I was like, oh, we've got to hurry up. We've got to release this movie, because everything in the film will have happened in real life and will be spoiled. And then as I guess nowadays, like everything has been done, but at the same time, people are kind of still learning about it. And it sort of feels like even more like timely, or it feels like we predicted what was going to happen.
I need to show it to my parents because even there, like I'm like, you guys need to like be aware. This is out there. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, no, totally. Like yeah, when you talk about your parents, like there are a lot of scams out there, and it's so easy to yeah fool people. I remember a couple years ago, a friend of mine, his parents got a call and they were like, "Oh, we kidnapped your son," and he was traveling in Thailand at the time. And we're like, if you don't give us money, we're gonna kill him. And then on the other line, like his mom was like calling him, and he luckily picked up the phone because if he hadn't, then she would have freaked out. But I can only imagine a time nowadays where it's like they could actually have your voice because you've made a video online with your voice in it, and all you need is a couple of seconds of audio from someone to clone them. And
Yeah, no, 60 seconds or something. I did. I got Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro to recap my D&D sessions, which my friends found very funny. I made them sound really stupid because I'm not really a big fan of either of those, but it was very easy to clone their voice.
so yeah, it's yeah, a little bit terrifying.
Everything. I'm just like I've always been a skeptical person, so a lot of this stuff just confirms that I should be always skeptical of things. But like, I guess what's next? Like, you finished the film. Like, what's happening with it now?
um, yeah. So right now we're looking for a distributor. We've chosen to keep the movie independent up until now. I'm gonna be going to Film Art in Hong Kong in March. I plan on also going to the Cannes Film Market, the Marché du Film, in May. And yeah, we're gonna see where it goes. We would love if we could get like a theatrical run, just because we feel like it's a movie that should be seen in theater. And um, then yeah, we'll see when do we launch it on streaming. I mean, if it will eventually go to streaming, but we want to promote it as much as we can so that people know that it exists and want to see it. And I think that there's a narrative out there where it's sort of yeah talks about all these topics that are like, well, people should know about and should learn to protect themselves. Or yeah.
It's kind of it actually what's really interesting with the Lola, like where she gets cloned at the end, is there's a series of books, and I found them while cleaning the other day, and it's called Recursion. And the really thing is in one of the books it follows a woman who like walks in for an interview, and then it flashes, she like wakes up and it's the distant future, and she finds out that who she is now in the narrative is like a copy of her personality, that when she walked into this building they copied her personality, and then she's been like sold over and over again copies of her, so she's like out in whatever the equivalent of the internet is then in the future, and there's like all these evil twisted versions of her that have been like had these horrible things done to her, and it really made me think of like Lola Dust and just how like even that book was like incredible science fiction 20 years ago, but like who knows, like 10 years from now where are we going to be?
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Maybe an alternate ending for the film. Nice.
So, what's next? I mean, you've done this film, and like I think it needs a theatrical run. It's like almost like a must watch for where the world is going. But like, do you have any scripts you're thinking about?
Yeah, well, we have a film in post production that's a musical comedy, and it's called So Glad You Came, and it's about this musician who decides, well, she learns that like she's got to come up with money, and then she learns that she could start an OnlyFans and she could make a lot of money doing that, and she decides to make this song, and it gets adopted by this church, and they basically become Christian celebrities and, live hiding this kind of secret past. Really funny movie. And I guess Dom and I, we've got a script for the next sort of thriller epic that we want to make. And we're hoping that we can come up with money for
Any
that one.
teasers on that one?
Yeah, that one is about a team of content moderators for a social media platform who sort of get indoctrinated by this leader who leads them in this conspiracy theory. And to save freedom of speech, they organize a mass shooting at the social media platform that they work for. So,
Wow, you just keep, like, jumping from really relevant topic to really relevant
yeah,
topic.
our mind's a little dark.
Should probably talk about when, like, the billionaires get a president elected and take over everything.
Oh man, that would be a good movie. A good sci-fi.
Dystopian, horrible future.
Oh yeah.
So, I guess my other questions are, Jade, the lead, how did you cast her?
Yeah, that's maybe more of a Dom question. But yeah, when we started thinking about the main character of Nadia, um, I mean, we knew we wanted to have um, we didn't want to have a white actress. We wanted someone beautiful, charismatic, who could portray pure, but also could play this alternative character. And I guess I don't know. We were sort of thinking, and we didn't really have to cast very long. Dom was like, I saw this girl on this ad, and like she's got a YouTube channel, and um, we were like, okay, let's reach out to her, and we just reached out to Jade, and she was up for it. So
That's awesome, so you didn't have to hold auditions?
we didn't hold audition for the character of Nadia. No, we held auditions for all the other characters, but yeah, for Nadia and Lola Dust, we sort of always knew we wanted Jade, and we're like, okay, well, if it's not Jade, we'll see which other direction we go. But yeah,
Excellent. I guess some more technical questions, what do you edit in? Was it Premiere?
Resolve.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to move to Resolve. I can edit Premiere blindfolded, but I really don't like what Adobe's doing with their subscription fees, and Resolve is kind of cool where it's all built into one. Did you find that helped with, like, that Resolve is like a all-in-one platform, or did you still go outside of it for certain things?
No, we didn't. I mean, I don't know who our VFX like what program our VFX supervisor did the VFX in. I know that it was really useful actually staying in Premiere in Resolve because we edited the film, then we sent it for coloring, and our colorist, that's what he used for colors as well. So everything sort of stayed in the same program, and we exported it. And whenever he sent us the timeline with all the color, we didn't have to conform anything. It just made the whole editing process super easy.
Yeah, I'm finding that with some of my, like, short films because I finally bit the bullet and edited a short film in it, and then I got my friend to color it, and, like, man, I just gave him the footage, and then he sent me a project file, and it just opened, and it was the easiest thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. And then you don't have to deal with all the weird issues exporting. And yeah.
So I really like the music in it as well. Is there like, how did that work? How did you get some of that music?
Okay, so most of the music in the film, except for two tracks, were composed by a composer in Italy called Claudio Smusi. He's a good friend of Dom. They grew up together in Italy, and he made the music on our first film, and that was really well received. So, yeah, in this one, Dom, like while he was editing, um, took a lot of music from like Interstellar and from other movies to give a vibe, and then he sent that to the composer, and the composer created like an aesthetic and like a soundscape for the movie. So that's why the music sort of belongs to the same universe throughout the film.
Yeah, I definitely felt that. And then you had 2 other tracks?
Yeah, we had two tracks. One of them is the opening during the credits in the beginning, and during the talent row. So at some point, when she enters this corridor with with your friend,
I
um,
love that.
that
Actually, I love
that track Dom selected. Um, he Whenever he's working, he likes to listen to this like Norwegian like Viking folk music, and he really liked that track, and he was like, "We've got to have this one." And so I had to reach out to the artist in Norway and get him to agree to let us use his track.
That scene really worked. I actually really enjoyed just how, like, both, like, weirdly surreal, but also, like, I have a friend who bought this, like, heritage, clinic or something in Guelph, and I've gone and stayed with him, and it's, like, super creepy because it's kinda like that where, like, has all these, like, uh, I don't know, podcasting studios in a row, and it's not sexy like your weird montage, which was cool, but it's all like, BattleTech and Shadowrun and D&D. But yeah, you walk down this thing and there's all these different things going on, and it's kind of bizarre, but then seeing that with that one, it's like there probably are buildings where that is going on, where they're shooting a lot of weird content, and it's just like one room after another.
Yeah, that was the idea. With We were like, well, let's imagine this warehouse where they're filming all this fake gossip and creating news stories that people will see in the National Enquirer or like one of those magazines. No shout out to that magazine, by the way. Don't go and buy it at the grocery store. But there's got to be places like that where they're like, oh, let's create these fake news, and people will give us money and yeah,
I mean, it's like, what is it like? Yeah, like scandal sells. So,
scandal sells, and yeah, it doesn't need to be real for it to sell, and yeah.
did you try to do any real? Is there any deep fake technology used in the project?
Um, yeah, there's that one, which is my cameo, me
Okay.
and Dom's cameo at some point where, her colleague explained what is a deep fake. That one is basically, and that was a very bad deep fake too. Like, but yeah, he sort of explains what it is, for the people who will watch the movie and do not know what it is, and yeah, it's basically my face and Dom's face, and they're like, yeah, so basically we take the face from one actor and then we give the features to this other guy, and then yeah.
I thought that part was really good because, like, I have followed a lot of AI and stuff, mostly just for dumb stuff. Like I said, like, photorealistic pictures of D&D characters and things, but that actually legitimately look like university examples of technology that I've seen. There was content aware fill, which Photoshop has, where you can replace someone with image with just like background stuff.
Mhm.
I remember finding something online that was exactly that kind of explanation, and then there was a little plugin that you could download and use in, I believe, GIMP, which was like a free photo editing program before Adobe bought it all. And yeah, that little example there, I was like, I've totally experienced that.
Yeah. No, it's really funny because yeah, about a month or so ago, like I was going through some of our like the behind the scenes that we shot, and there was one video where we were chatting with Lachlan, the actor who plays the villain, and we were asking him, "Oh, if you could be defaked in any scene, which one would you want to be in?" And he mentioned wanting to be in a Bruce Willis movie, blanking on the name, Die Hard, and so we basically I found website like there are tons of websites nowadays where you just send a photo and then you can submit a video and then they'll just put your face directly in that video. So yeah, it's a lot easier nowadays. But yeah, I got to put Lachlan inside of Die Hard, which was really funny.
I think it's funny because I remember the actor Lachlan. I think one of his early roles, he was like a good guy, and it always bugs me when I see him as a villain because it's like, no, you're supposed to be a good guy. What was working with him like?
Oh, it was fantastic. He came to set. He was so happy. He had read the script and he was just like, yeah, down to earth, really excited to work with us. And we really loved because it was one of the first time we worked with like a name actor, and yeah, he made it really easy, and the vibe on set was really fun. So
That's excellent. I'm really trying to go for that vibe on my projects. And how did you snag him?
we just reached out to his agent, like with everything. When we were looking for an actor to play the villain, we started reaching out to actors, and we were like, "Oh, let's try this actor. Let's see." And after a while, yeah, we realized that we should not shoot for the moon. And yeah, a friend of ours was like, "Oh, well, there's Lachlan, and he's in town. He'll be easy, like to contact. We won't have to fly him first class, and all these other things to convince him." And once we reached out, yeah, he was really happy to jump on. So
That's excellent. Yeah, I got really excited at the end where you reveal that you like that's your celebrity cameo, but it was a good one and it was money well spent, I think. So
yeah, we tried Nick Cage, and we we didn't have enough money for Nick Cage.
he's huge. I mean,
They didn't even give a dollar number. They didn't ask how much can you pay. They said you can't afford the big Nick Cage. Like, okay.
well, I think he has that dinosaur skull he has to pay off or something.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
so is there anything you learned from this project?
hmm, good question. I mean, I guess I learned the parts of making movies that I enjoy, which are being on set and going to trade shows. And I learned the ones that I do not like, which
Wait, you
are,
like going to trade shows?
well, go to like film markets and, yeah.
Maybe you can help me with my stuff because I don't want to do
No, oh,
that.
it's fun. When you go to
Really?
your first con.
I mean, I'm more of like a Gen Con, like Dungeons and Dragons convention kind of guy. So if there's no dice there, it's not. I feel weird.
Well, yeah, I guess. They're nerds too, though.
Film nerds are nerds.
And yeah, film festivals are fun too, I guess.
The funny thing is, like, we don't know each other, and you reached out, which I'm wow, I'm like a tiny podcast, and like having a film of that caliber and brilliance like reach out, I'm honored. But I was watching the first 5 minutes with that audition, and I was like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? Because it's rough and creepy, and it makes sense for the because it makes complete sense in the narrative. But that like first 5 minutes of that creepy audition is like, oh my.
Yeah, it's funny because that scene is the only scene that was part of the first version of the script that I got like 3 years ago. We wanted to start the movie a bit with a bang, and I I don't know. It's funny because when I read it, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do with this scene. I'm like, is that something that like we'll have to cut later because no one's gonna want to touch the movie because of it, and or is that something that like actors are gonna be uncomfortable acting, or like I had a lot of doubts on that scene, and um, we decided to run with it. And funny enough, like whenever we asked women to read the script, many of them were like, "Oh no, you've got to keep that scene. That scene is great. Like that's normal. That's the stuff that you don't see, but it happens all the time." And I'm like, "Really? Like that kind of stuff doesn't happen on my set."
Yeah,
And
I
it's
completely agree with you on that. Like that,
it's probably like out of the entire film, that was the scene I was the most scared of filming. Like I want my name to stay clean. I was like worried about it. And funny enough, like on the day off, I mean, we decided we wanted Jade to feel safe, and so we closed the set, but we still needed someone to read the scenes. And um, Dom was like, "Okay, Olivier, you're reading the script," and I was like, "Uh oh," and then I read it, but like in a somber way, and then Jade kind of upped it up. She's like, "No, no, you've got to go all in, and you've got to like you can scream at me, like make me feel uncomfortable," and so like read it once, and then I upped it up a notch like the second time, and yeah, luckily didn't mic me, because if they had mic'd me, that's
that's
my voice.
blackmail. That's
Well,
blackmail
it would
material.
be my voice that would have made it into the film, but they replaced my voice with a voice actor. Um,
The voice actor sounded great, but it was like, and you're not wrong. Like I've never done that kind of like. I mean, my sets are like that, where it's like most of it people I work with are my friends. So obviously, we don't do that sort of like God no. But like, I have a friend who went to a chemistry reading that involved her making like they got her to make out with the producer, and she didn't know that was a problem. And like, I had to get a bunch of people to talk to her and be like, "That was super not cool, and you
oh.
should probably warn people about them." So I can attest like that stuff's out there, but like yeah, like a lot of I asked all my personal friends who are filmmakers and like, yeah, dude, that's messed up. And like that watching that scene, that was totally a reminder that like there are people out there like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The people it happens. I mean, hopefully they speak out about it. But yeah, it's really funny because in the film, I mean, the actress sort of talks it out, and the guy reacts to it and like, "Oh my gosh, that's unacceptable." And the other girl is like, "Oh, well, whatever happens at the audition, happens." it's like, oh, and yeah, it's funny that when we tested the scene with an audience, like it seemed to go that exact same way where the guy was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so bad and unacceptable, and no one, should do that." And yeah,
And then there's a lot of women who are like, "Yeah, that totally happens,"
exactly,
which is super depressing.
which is really sad,
Yeah.
creepy, but yeah, those kind of guys, I guess, go on to become presidents. Yeah,
That's heartbreaking and
yeah,
not untrue, and yeah, I find that's like, I'm gonna get myself in trouble, I may have to cut this part, but, like, I got into photography to, like, improve my lighting and cinematography skills, and I'm in a bunch of photography groups, and it's like, I think I, like, warned a friend away from a photographer because I just looked through his portfolio, and it's all, like, half nude women, and, like, it's like, dude's never photographed a man, and it just looks
yeah. No,
kinda
there was a yeah, a
yeah.
couple years ago, like on the Facebook groups, right? Like there was this one creepy guy that, yeah,
Yeah, it's like
oh.
power. Whereas, like, for me, it's like photography is like, "Hey, let's, like, have some fun and, like, laugh and, like, or like, oh, we'll try to look cool," but, like, that stuff's, kinda sketch.
Yep.
So, is there anything else you wanna talk about the movie? Like, is there a website, an Instagram? Like, people do
Yeah.
need to see this movie. This movie is awesome and, like, really exciting, and I was watching it, and you sent me a screener, and I'm, like, looking, I'm like, "Dude, this was finished a year ago." Like,
Oh
it's
no, it was not finished a
but
year ago. We put it on Vimeo sort of. We started sending it to people when it was unfinished, and we've just been updating the film in the link, but we finished the movie about a month and a half ago for the premiere in New York. Um, yeah.
but you've been working like, the script was kinda written about 2 years ago?
Yeah, and we've had a rough cut for about a year and a half.
Yeah, that's pretty much Nostradamus level, like, prediction of where things were going, and I get, like, you can see where the tides, but I was kept looking at this and I'm like, how the hell did they see how things were gonna come like this?"
Yeah. Well, yeah. If people want to follow the project, I would say follow Lola Dust Film on Instagram. And yeah, if you have any question about the movie, like reach out to me. My name's Olivier Leroux. You can find my Instagram as well. But
There'll be links
yeah,
below.
there'll be links below. And yeah, I'm really happy to share, you know, my experience about the film and yeah, keep you updated with what's up with the film and the developments.
"Hey, you brought Guinness, you can come back on whenever you want and talk about whatever you want." So,
Thank you.
I would cheers you, but I'm empty,
Yep.
but
Finish this.
thank you, Olivier, for coming out today, it was an honor to watch your film, and I'm incredibly honored that you were willing to come on the podcast and talk about it. I feel like this is a film that should break your career out because it's good.
Thank you so much for having me.